Hey everyone, I have a super exciting stream today. I have Pauline. Finally, we're geeking out after all this time. So I'm super excited. I know you've all been geeking out before me in Discord yesterday with Pauline. I've had major FOMO. You've been geeking out. Okay, I've tried this. I've got this issue. I figured it out. Here's a link to help. And I'm like missing out on all this fun. So hopefully today I can play catch up. But Pauline, how are you doing?
I'm so well, thank you. I'm just so excited to be on here. Just to finally collaborate on something together because I feel like we've been talking about this for years, doing something. We were just like, we don't know when.
Exactly, you're right. I've been talking about it for so long, so I'm just super excited to finally do it. And I'm even more excited that GitPod's open source. I think that's just epic. So that really, for me, was like, yes, this is awesome. So let's do a bit of intros. So I've known Pauline for years. We've geeked out kind of on and off on socials, as you do. And finally, we're actually having a proper geek out today. And Pauline's going to take us through GitPod, which my understanding is it's like a bit like Codespaces, but it's open source. We're going to learn more about it. Pauline has an amazing blog, an amazing podcast. I've got so many amazing things. There is a link to Pauline's website below, and you can then discover all the awesome stuff she does. But Pauline, please give us an intro to yourself and what you do, because you run Ladies in DevOps as well, and it's just so many things. So please let us know. List it all out for us.
Yes, I'll list it all out. I really struggle with introductions because I feel like I can go on for like 20 minutes about what I do because I do so many things. But yeah, hi everyone. It's so nice to see so many people on the chat. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Pauline. I'm a community engineer here at GitPod. And as Eddie mentioned, I also run a lot of different like community events and community spaces. So one of my recent community projects was Ladies in DevOps, which I launched in April. And Ladies in DevOps is a space for self-identifying women who want to share their experiences working in the DevOps profession, or like SRE space, or cloud space as well, and their learnings, and also meet like-minded people. And in addition to that, I also help out with a organization called Code First Girls in the UK, where I helped teach women how to get their first job in tech through upskilling them, like teaching them things like web development and like Python and stuff like that. So I've been doing that for a couple of years. And also, as Eddie also mentioned, I love blogging, and I recently started a podcast. Actually, that was like this time last year I started a podcast. So and that's taken off, and it's been wonderful, like really dipping my fingers in a lot of different things. So if you follow me on Twitter, you might just see me floating around on the internet. That's where I live.
Awesome. Well, I'm just super excited. I think people have spotted that I'm already typing things in.
Yeah.
I feel really left out that I didn't play with GitPod, so I'm kind of loading it up now on my screen. And I thought,
amazing.
Save you sharing your screen, I can share mine, and I can drive, you can navigate, as we say in pair programming. So
yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
I know lots of people have played with this already, and I haven't yet. So I haven't even logged in. So I've got let me bring up my screen, and people can see what I'm typing. So here is my screen, and
yes.
I just want to talk a little bit more about it. So I referred to it as Codespaces that's open source, but how would you best describe this?
Well, that's a really good question. And the first thing I'd like to say is like, because there's a lot of things in the air recently, especially since Codespaces tweeted, I think it was 2 days ago, about opening Codespaces up to a lot more people. And even though Codespaces and GitPod have a lot in common, I think there are a lot of differences that people sort of brush over just because it's GitHub. Everyone's like, yeah, let's just jump into whatever GitHub releases. But yeah, so in terms of how to describe GitPod, for me, GitPod, I like describing it as an open source developer platform that automates the provisioning of ready to code development environments. So if you've ever come across the term infrastructure as code, it's sort of a similar concept in that dev environments as code, it just automates the whole development process, similar to how infrastructure as code automates infrastructure in the cloud. And it's designed to help, it's designed for applications running in the cloud, essentially. And the whole point of it is to free engineering teams from the friction of, we've all been there where we have to manually set up local dev environments. And, when we're trying to contribute to a new open source project, you see a list of things that you need to install or, and that's very rare. Sometimes people don't even include READMEs and you sort of just have to try and figure it out yourself. And so the point of GitPod is to try and make that whole process easier for everyone by automating it and being able to just click a button that takes you to like a full-blown VS Code, essentially. And yeah, that's it. That's how I would describe it.
Okay, that sounds great. And yesterday, also Carl is writing now saying, set it up for our API project, which I want to bring up here. This is the EdiHub API project. And Carl says they went from, where was it? 0 to hero yesterday.
Wow.
So that's the wrong message, my bad. But setting up our API locally for the first time is a bit of a pain. Yes, because we do need Docker and some people can't run Docker on their computers because it's not powerful enough. So great to hear that Carl had some challenges, but that's normal when the first time you're using something. But you were helpful and supportive, and Carl got it up and running. But Carl, I don't see a GitPod button that I saw from someone's screenshot in Discord in our README yet. So that's something we need to look into.
You can actually install the extension from Chrome, but I can see you're using Safari, aren't you?
I do use Safari for like browsing stuff, but for development, I've got Keychain and all the rest. So yes, so that's why. I just find it just so much easier, and also on Chrome I clear my sessions and cache and everything like regularly because I'm developing in that, so yeah, I don't want to keep getting logged out of things, so that's why. No worries, Carl, I'm just joking. It's something I'm really keen to see kind of how it goes.
Yeah, do you want me to share my screen and I'll get your repo up, Eddie?
Yeah, let's do it. If that's easier for you to share, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Got questions coming in already. Do packages and dependencies reload every time? So
loads of questions. Oh, good questions here. Let me try and go through it as I'm.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, you bring up your screen. I will remove mine, and we can actually get a demo of this because I'm guessing it looks like VS Code. I'm wondering how we got our Docker container running. I know Carl did that yesterday, so that was quite interesting. So yeah, and then I actually have a question. Someone mentioned it. I think it's Michael. Does Michael work with you?
Oh no, Michael does not work with me, but he is a close friend from GitLab.
Okay, awesome. Hi, Michael. So my question comes off the back of Michael's, which is GitPod can be self-hosted in your infrastructure. So does that mean, I know you announced today you've got a new free tier for GitPod.
Yes.
But say, for example, there wasn't the free tier, or you say there wasn't one. Could I, going off Michael's comment, could I host that myself in my own Kubernetes cluster and then give access to other people? Is that how it would work, or have I misunderstood that?
So right now we've got GitPod out the box. It's SaaS, but there are some like larger enterprises, for example, that want to use GitPod self-hosted just for like security reasons and some certain requirements. So that is an option. To answer your question, yes, you can like run it yourself if you wanted to do that. I've only been at GitPod. I should say this as a disclaimer. I've only been at GitPod for a month, and so I haven't actually had the chance to play around with the self-hosted version, just because I want to see how it runs and how it compares as well to SaaS. But yeah, definitely give it a go. I think we've got like great documentation on it, and I've seen quite a few users in our community play around with it. So.
Okay, no, that sounds good. Okay, let me remove my screen and bring up your screen, and let's have a walkthrough. Right. I'm super excited.
Right. Firstly, I can't actually see is this the right repo?
It is the right repo that Carl was working on yesterday, and Carl says for the Docker workaround yesterday, but there's a fix got shipped yesterday as well. Okay, nice.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's agile. Getting like getting things shipped fast. So that's epic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So this is my first startup as well, and I'm enjoying it so much because everything gets shipped like super quickly. It's great. So is this your branch with the? Did you end up creating a gitpod.yaml file?
When
I
was the
don't
last
know.
commit? 18th of May. So no, that's an
Oh
old one.
no,
We should
that's
probably
not it.
delete that one.
Yeah.
Maybe Carl hasn't pushed it yet. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
maybe.
Carl, let us know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I can't see any branches.
maybe
But
not.
I'll give you an example anyway. I'll just
Okay.
talk you
Yeah.
through it as if, yeah, we'll go through it together. So
Sure.
essentially what you could do with Gitpod is you can install a Chrome extension that
Okay.
adds the Gitpod button onto your repo. You can do this on Chrome and in Firefox. So when you press this button, it should open. You know what? I'm getting the fear of being live and knowing people are watching my screen.
The best way I've made my peace with that is when you're going live, something's going to go wrong. And
Yes.
people are here to support. And I find that even when I make the stupidest mistakes, everyone's really supportive and helps me out. So honestly, don't worry. If nothing goes wrong, people might think it's not live. So it's kind of good if something goes right.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get through that actually. You didn't do anything regarding
Okay, no worries. We will do it. We've got the weekend coming up, although I've got a wedding tomorrow. But we'll have a look. It does sound really interesting to get people more contributing to our API project, not having to install Docker and Node and all the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so essentially, like I said, you just press this button, or you can also prefix your repo, your GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket repo with gitpod.io/ and then the hash. And then that should start a new workspace. This one is taking a little longer than I expected.
Okay, now we know
it's blazingly fast, I promise you. It's always when I'm live.
That's fine. So let me ask some other questions. So while that's loading, my questions is, so you need to sign in. So if I bring up my screen for a moment, so if I want to use it, I guess I can't just change the URL. I need to log in or register, try now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I can log in with any of my accounts. I can log in with my GitHub, which I like to do. Okay. Sounds good. Welcome to GitPod. Continue with GitHub. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. GitHub wants my bank details. Yep. Take my PIN code. That's all fine. And I've got my GitHub mug for support today as well.
Oh, amazing.
So okay. Here it gives you some instructions on prefix any GitHub, any Git repository with that URL. Okay, it makes sense. Or I can click add new workspace, or I guess I can do it like you said with the plugin as well. So let me do exactly what you said, which was I might try the API as well. So GitPod. So would I replace this thing at the beginning here like that?
No. No. You prefix it. So right at the start there.
With the HTTPS or remove that?
Yeah, with the,
literally like prefix everything
in front of it. Yes, yeah.
Oh, I see. Got you. Okay. Right. Let me see if mine beats yours. Is yours still going?
Mine is still going. Mine is still going, unfortunately.
That's mine.
It always happens when it's live. I do have to say there was a I think we did ship something just before we went live, so that might be a reason why it's a little slower than usual. But
no worries.
Yeah, but
something's appeared on mine. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So this is actually your dashboard. So this is where you can sort of like spin up new workspaces. You can delete, you can stop and start workspaces, and yeah, it's really helpful. Like for example, so the another good thing about GitPod is we basically promote the idea of ephemeral environments.
Okay.
And so what that means is, say, like Eddie, you had like a long to-do list of changes you wanted to make on your website or in whatever project. So what you can do is you can spin up multiple workspaces for each task. So
Okay.
for example, if you wanted to change the color of your website, but you also wanted to change the font and you didn't want to do them all in one workspace, you can have them in 2 separate ones. So it keeps a nice clean slate every single time. And
That's awesome, because you know what I do now? Let me share this with people. Okay, disclaimer. This is what I do now. Repos, Eddie Hub. I have API and API 2 because I've got, yes, I can stash things and switch between branches, but sometimes I don't want to stash things because I've got the database in a certain state that I want. And then I don't want to run the test, so it ditches the database. So I have like API 2 using a different database and all the rest. So I really like that idea that you can have different environments. Okay, this is all good stuff. Okay, this sounds really, really good.
I'm trying to right now. I'm trying to like open up another repo that I know should load. I'm so sorry about this. This always happens.
No worries. We can chat to people in the chat as well. We're waiting for it too. So Michael says, I used GitPod today to work on Hugo Deploy Tech website live preview. There's a Twitter link in there. I'm new to GitPod, just added the extension. Looking forward to it. Okay, nice. Manansa, hope I pronounced your name right. Awesome. Let me know how you get on. I'm really excited for everyone's feedback. So do let us know in the chat if you've used it before, if you're using it for the first time, and how you get on with it as well. So
amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good. So I managed to load my workspace. Let me just try and run yours in the background. Let's create a new one. Okay, yours is loading. Yes.
It was just a glitch in the matrix, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet one of my colleagues is watching right now, and they're just like, "Oh, better help her out."
No. Thank you, colleagues from Pauline.
So yeah, essentially, this is what you get. It's a full-blown VS Code in the cloud, and it's all on your browser, which is amazing. So Eddie, I think you mentioned something around if people can't contribute, if, for example, their laptop isn't powerful enough. And this is what I love about like cloud-based like solutions in general, just because it opens up it to a lot of people who don't have like super powerful machines. So so yeah, this is essentially it. I don't know, you can do all sorts of things that you usually do. You can install different extensions. You could change your theme.
I have a question about that. Sorry to interrupt. So you mentioned extensions. I don't know if you can answer this. I should have asked you before the stream, so I could have prepared you. This is a question you're either going to know the answer to or you're not.
Okay.
Can I use dot files with GitPod?
No.
Is it? I was hoping no. You're not sure, and you'll find out. But is that a definite and hard no?
Like as in dot files.
As in
dot files.
Yes.
Like,
so I configure my laptop through dot files, my Linux environments, my Mac, everything like that.
Yeah, well, I don't think, but I think that is like a feature request that we are looking into. So yeah, I don't think you can. But can I get back to you on that one?
Yeah,
I want to say, I want to say, I remember. Yeah, I want to say I remember we talked about it, but I don't know what the update was there from there. And Francesco has arrived. Hello.
Francesco's always doing flying visits. We all have to encourage him to stay. I know he's busy, but hopefully he can stay. And one day he's going to join me on a live stream as well.
Yes,
thank you so much for the donation.
It'd be super cool. Okay, so essentially, like I said, it's VS Code in the cloud. That's sort of like how I like to use it. You can run sudo, you can run root, and I'm trying to think some other cool features. You know what? Let's automate this. Let's Gitpodify this project, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So, am I okay to create a new branch?
Do it.
Yes, I'm gonna call this Pauline Gitpodify. I don't know how you do this, Eddie. I'm like terrified of doing something wrong.
I just hide it well. And everyone, let's just give a shout out to Francesco for the donation as well. Francesco, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here.
That's he's great.
Proper shout out. So yes, I'm hoping Francesco is still here.
Yeah.
But
if not, we'll definitely catch up with him. I'll send him all the emojis on Twitter later.
Yeah. I wanted to everyone check out Francesco's. Francesco is still here. Francesco, you are still here. Awesome. Let's drop your YouTube link in the chat. I'm trying to find it. Can one of the mods do me a favor and drop Francesco's YouTube link in the chat just to say thanks for dropping by and always being super supportive. I'm trying to find it myself, but
Yeah,
I can't
you know
multitask
what?
very well.
I watch
found it.
Francesco's videos. I watch his videos all the time, and I just feel like I should have a shortcut for his YouTube channel at this point. Yeah. Oh, he's great. Amazing. Cool.
Cool. Okay, sorry, carry on. I interrupted you.
No,
And
absolutely fine.
we did get a comment from Carl who says we can have pre-installed add-ons with the GitPod YAML. Okay, so that's cool. So
yes, absolutely. Let me talk you through this GitPod YAML file then.
Let's do it.
So whenever you want to start, like for example, you're inspired to start Gitpodifying your project, a handy CLI command that we have is gp init, and this initializes the Gitpod YAML file, and this is essentially it. It is a YAML file, but a powerful one. So, for example, in this one, I'm not too sure. Can you give me an example of, have you got like a startup thing that you... Okay, npm install, that's a good one.
Yeah. We've got Carl here. If I forget, we've got Carl here, so we're okay.
Amazing. Oh, Erlene's here. Hi, Erlene. I didn't even see Erlene's one of our co-founders from Ladies in DevOps, and yeah, she's great. Any free swag from GitPod?
Great question.
You know what? I'll try and get you one, Erlene. We'll see. But that actually reminds me. I have a coupon code for 30% off. It's for like 30% off one of our pricing plans, and so if anyone wants 30% off, then let me know. Although with that said, you do get 50 hours free in our free tier. So if you want to just give it a go first before you commit to anything, then have a look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
can I share? Sorry. Can I share the coupon that you sent me in the
absolutely?
Let me share that in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was gonna say, yeah, Francesco, definitely check out GitPod. Maybe we can do another video.
Yeah.
All the videos. Amazing. Okay. So Docker Compose up on init. So yeah, let me talk you through the different things that you can do in this .gitpod YAML file. So you see this task on everything underneath it. When you see this dash essentially is specifying a new terminal. So I think one of the first things that you put on your README file is installation. You need an npm install. Yeah. So let's call this terminal install npm, and then for the init command, we'll do npm install. And we don't really need a command. You know what? Let's have a command just to demonstrate it to you. So this installed npm. Awesome. And we'll ignore the rest of it for now, but essentially this will, when you close GitPod and then rerun it, this GitPod YAML file will then kick off all of the init commands. So in this case, we've got npm install, and it basically installs all of the npm dependencies without it installs all of the dependencies, and you sort of don't have to like install it yourself, and you don't have to wait for it because it automatically does it as it's running the workspace, if that makes sense. Let me show you how it works.
Okay, although there is a disclaimer from Carl, we have it's not a private npm package, it is public, but it's on GitHub, which defaults, I think, to private. So he says it might fail.
Okay. We'll give it a go.
We'll give it a go. We'll see.
Yeah, nothing like some, So yeah, we'll just push that. I'll give that a go. Eddie, I just had a weird flashback from years ago where you did a live stream. Oh yeah, I have to fork it, don't I? Dang. I should have done
I
that.
wasn't sure if you were showing me some new trick. That's why I didn't say anything.
No,
I was like, oh,
no.
maybe this is something
It's
new.
because I am so used to just like people giving me permissions to their repos. I shouldn't have that. But I was saying that I just had a weird flashback of us of you being live on like a few years ago, and you were on my repo and you were fixing something. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember that.
yes.
That was from like years ago. I
Must have
don't
been, yeah, a
know.
good 2 years. I think I've been almost doing YouTube for 3 years now. So, yeah, maybe 2.5, something like that. So,
2.5.
um,
Yeah. That's weird. That's
um,
weird.
some questions. So, Koalia says, sorry for being late. Koalia, no problem. We're just getting started. Carl asks, what OS are you using? I'm guessing Mac.
Yes. You know what, Eddie? I was just I'm Googling right now because I completely forgot how to do a fork from the CLI.
Oh, from the CLI. I don't think you can fork from the CLI unless you change
Can
the
you not?
remotes. No. You could,
Oh,
if you had the
okay.
GitHub CLI, you might be able to do something that way, but I don't think so. So
Yeah.
what I would suggest is, yeah, if you create a fork and then you can grab the URL and just change it so that what you had cloned is pointing to the fork. But I don't know if that will work with
Yeah.
GitPod or not.
Yeah. You know what? It might be safe to do it again.
Yeah, I think it might be safer because we could change the Git remotes, but I don't know if GitPod is
Absolutely.
keeping the
Absolutely.
remote somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently, yeah, GitHub CLI allows you to do it, but again, I don't know how it would work with GitPod. If
Yeah.
I'm sure it keeps some
But
things cached and all the rest.
yeah, you know what? This is a good way to go through it again. So you
Exactly,
can
for the
watch
people
me.
who missed it. I love it. I like
Yes.
turn a negative into a positive. I wish I
I
had
love
sound
it.
effects because that would be great. That would be really, really good.
Do you usually have sound effects for your stream? On your other one, not StreamYard.
Yeah, well, I'm not using StreamYard, but unfortunately moving to StreamYard now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because I want to get portable when I go traveling. So I'm in UK now, back to Portugal in a few days, then back to England in September, and then kind of Asia in October, November. So I need to get more
Oh
portable.
yeah, and getting away from the UK
Yes.
winter.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. While you're doing that, everyone watching, don't forget, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and also check out Pauline's links in the description below as well. Cool. Okay. My workspace is up as well.
Amazing.
I'll let you know too.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so essentially we're back to where we were earlier.
Okay,
so
that was quick. Nice.
for you to test out your GitPod file, you actually have to like commit and push it, but you also and then you need to close the workspace and sort of start again, if that makes sense. So now we're back in my in this in the repo. I don't know how you can talk and like code at the same time. I'm like multitasking so many times, but okay. And then we'll open up a new GitPod workspace, and we should have a go. Francesco has said it's literally impossible to not laugh if Pauline laughs.
And that's true, right?
I'm glad. I'm glad you think that.
Where in Asia? We're thinking we'll stop in Dubai for a bit. This is Middle East, I know, not Asia. And then we'll spend most of the winter in Bali, or plan B is Thailand. But on the way back, we might stop via India rather than Dubai. So we will see. It depends on COVID. And Carl, we've already thought about going to Germany, but we've looked up where your town or city is. You're really far from Berlin. So if we went to Berlin, it's like an 8-hour train or drive ride. I didn't realize Germany was so big. So unfortunately, we weren't going to do a collab or anything. But I do have Bolt. I don't know if people know Bolt, who was one of the original members, one of the first few members in Eddie Hub. It actually coming to visit me in Portugal the week after next. So I'm super excited. We will geek out. And then we'll take some photos and see what we can share as well. So I'm super excited about that. So Francesco, Pauline, no excuses. We have to go geek out somewhere and do some collabs.
Absolutely. Eddie, you know, when you first met me, I was walking around with a camera vlogging my whole life. So I've absolutely. Look at
You,
that, amazing.
you're a vlog expert. Okay, an error, and I'm guessing that's what
Yeah,
Carl said it would be.
yeah, that is exactly what it is. Yeah, I think that's related. When we have that, can I just demonstrate what it would do
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it worked?
Also, while you're doing that, Carl, let us know how, if people do have npm packages on the GitHub
Mhm.
registry, how can we get around this? You just need a personal access token because it's not private, but GitHub, I think, protects their registry by saying you need to have a GitHub token that can read the registry. So that's what you do in the, I think, a .npm file. You would put that token in. And it will do it that way. So you don't need a token from us. You can use any of your tokens, but it's just GitHub trying to stop people from, I guess, DDoSing their container registry and all the
Okay,
rest.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, cool. I'd never heard of that before. I did it with scoped npm login for my workspace. Cool. Well, let me show you what would have happened if
Okay,
it
sounds
went
good.
successfully. So I've got my repo here. It's actually my own personal website. And what it does is when you click the gitpod.yaml file, gitpod button, it opens up another workspace, and then it triggers the gitpod.yaml file. And it should be nice and speedy. I get anxious now.
It's okay. The good thing is, between you, me, and people in the chat, we can always talk to, cover the
So
kind of
many.
the waiting.
Yes, absolutely. So okay, so what you can see here, let me just show you this gitpod YAML file that I've got. So this is the commands that I've got set up to start up the workspace. I've got one terminal that opens up an npm install and an audit fix. I don't remember doing that, but I think I did at some point. Yep, that was me 3 months ago. And then npm run dev. And it also opens up, I believe, no, it's not served yet. Why did it fail? But yeah, essentially it should open it up. Is it because it's not open in the browser? Of course it does that, of course. But okay, just ignore that for now. And then this is my second terminal, which I don't know. I got into this weird habit of creating another terminal to. Oh, it's working now. It's still going. Oh, that's it. That's because it's still going. And then I created a new terminal that I say. Oh, there you go. It was just a bit slow.
So just to clarify, did that open by itself automatically? You didn't click anything or do anything?
Yeah. Automatically, completely automatic. Yeah, that's all written in my gitpod YAML file. So we've got this terminal that does the npm install, and then it does a npm run dev. And then in the second terminal, I just do an echo that says for git. And so I don't know why, but I just wanted to do that like a few weeks ago, I guess. So that just demonstrates that you can open 2 different terminals, which is pretty cool because, like, for example, if you have multiple processes that you want to automate that's just kicking off all at the same time, you can have as many terminals as you want. Obviously, don't go crazy, but that is possible if you want it. And so I've got my gitpod YAML file to configure that it opens up on port 3000 and it opens in the browser. So as you can see there, once it started running, it opened up my website in a new tab in the browser.
Okay, awesome. And so if you make changes to your website, does it automatically reload the page, or can you run something that does that?
It automatically changes it. It automatically does.
And
yeah.
is that because you've configured it, or because it happens automatically out of the box?
Oh, it happens automatically out of the box. Nice. Yeah, that's just how it works. It's a Next.js project for those interested.
I thought I recognized the what was it? The npm run dev. I was like, that sounds like Next.js.
I mean, I love Next.js. I'm currently trying to learn Svelte. If you've heard of it.
Oh yes. So funny you should mention that. I've just on Wednesday released a Next.js video with data stacks for the database.
Oh,
And
yeah. Cool.
and that was really cool to use Next and data stacks together and get a CRUD application up and running pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then the reason why I laugh is because I have 2 more streams and videos coming up. One is just Svelte, to do Svelte, same thing that we built with Next.js and Nuxt.js, but with Svelte and data stacks as well.
Nice.
Probably Express in the middle. And then the same again with Angular to do like a comparison of how to build a CRUD app across the different things. So yes, watch this space. We'll have a video coming out soon on those as well.
No, that is really cool. Like, yeah, that's such a good idea for videos as well. But yeah, so that's essentially what it is. And over here, you can also see, I was actually doing some tests like the other day, 2 weeks ago, where I was trying to create a new Docker file, like a completely custom one. So we have like a base image that we can basically build on top of. So for example, if we don't have a certain dependency or like a package, we can put it in our custom Docker file, and it's essentially exactly the same as a normal Docker file. It's written the same way. And I think this is a good example. So this is our GitPod image, Docker image. And then from here, you can literally just write anything you want, like any custom tools, runtime, anything at all.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. I like that. Because with Docker, you could do like so much.
So much, yeah.
Which is just epic. Okay, Ashwin says sounds excited, they're gonna add it to a list of things to learn. Don't worry if you're not using Docker yet, you get started with Gitpod and then just add things as you need to.
Yeah, and give it a go. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the best part about Gitpod as well, because you don't have to like clog up your local machine. You can just play around in the cloud and then close it afterwards with no consequences, really.
Exactly. You know? I think that's pretty good. And then we've got some more questions coming in. What's the preview timeout on Gitpod?
So is that the workspace timeout, as in like if you don't code for like X amount of time, then what the timeout is? Is that what they mean?
I'm guessing. We'll answer that. If not, they can write something different in another message. But because I've got mine, for example, if I quickly drop mine up for a second. So mine's been running 2 minutes ago. I think it's a bit more than that. But when will that 12 minutes ago now, I refreshed it.
Awesome,
when will that suddenly go to sleep?
In 30 minutes of inactivity.
30 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
And then
however,
sorry,
I was just gonna say, Eddie, like, however, if you do have the Unleashed plan, which is our top plan, you have at least like I think 60 minutes. You can boost up your timeout.
Okay.
If you're interested.
But if it times out, I'm just gonna have to click on it, wait a few seconds, and it just opens again. So it's not like I lose anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world, I suppose.
Although sorry, did you say like if you stop your workspace, will you lose all your?
Sorry, not if I stop it. If I leave this and go have lunch and it hits 30 minutes, then it goes to sleep. When I come back, I just need to, I guess, click on it and it just starts again.
Yeah, exactly. But Eddie, if you click those 3 dots, and you look, you can see that option that says pin.
Okay.
And that actually pins your workspace so that it lasts like forever. So for example, if you just want one workspace forever rather than starting a new workspace again and again, then that's there. It's just pinned there. You can just always access that one, if that makes sense. Whereas, does that make sense?
So it will still go to sleep.
Yeah.
But it won't die, I guess is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, that's the best. I was going to phrase it like that, but then I didn't want it to sound so like grim.
Yeah, that's true. And what's this share?
Oh, so that is a very good question. That actually enables you to share your workspace with anyone. So for example, when you click that and then go onto your workspace now, like
this one over here.
Yeah, and then you can, I don't know. Okay, wait, can you send me that link via the private chat so it's not just
one?
Yeah, don't post it in the public chat because then everyone will just be jumping on you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and I can actually open it. So if you switch back to my screen.
Yep.
you can see that I've got it on here. And now, so if I change something, for example, I don't know, like the README,
Yeah,
and
just
I put,
hit enter loads of times or something. No, I need to open it.
and
So
can you
it's kind of
see it?
like, oh my word, yes. So it's kind of like live share, because there's mine, everyone. Here is
Yeah.
mine.
Look, I can edit in real time as well. There you go. So
And the hands
there
are
you
up
go.
here.
Yeah, look,
Oh,
hold on, let me.
oh, wait, let me go back to mine. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's what share is. Okay, so it's kind of like live code share and VS Code,
Mhm.
but without having to log in, authenticate, you can just send a link. Now I understand why you were
What?
saying don't
Yeah,
share the link with
don't just
everybody.
share it with everyone. Yeah, exactly. Just don't. And there's actually
To
another
stop.
way that you can. Yeah, there you go. You can stop sharing there. There's another way where you can share as well. So, for example, you say you don't want to send that workspace exactly to someone else. Like you don't want them in your own sort of workspace. You can go into your VS Code into get into your workspace, and then you can share your workspace by just I was trying to share it on my on the shared instance that you shared
Should
me,
I
but
share your screen?
yes please, yeah.
Yep, sorry.
So you can go into the little options
Oh,
here
yes.
and then click share workspace snapshot, and this will generate a URL that I can then send to you, and then you have your own version, your own snapshot of my code over
So
on you, if that makes
I'm
sense.
kind of forking your current kind of
Yes,
working dev
exactly.
environment. Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
and now people can see the difference between yours and mine. Mine's in light mode, yours is in dark mode. And we have some questions for that. So let's answer some of these questions. So timeout was 30 minutes, but can be extended for paid ones.
Yeah.
In the website project of GitPod, is it good first issue of SWOT, which I tried to resolve, but overwhelmed me after half an hour. Okay.
Okay, that's
If Carl gets overwhelmed, I get worried because Carl is a machine and just does so many amazing. API project has been driven by Carl. It's just
really,
epic.
oh, that's so amazing. That's so cool to hear.
Really, really
Well,
awesome.
if you do have any questions about the first issue or whatever, feel free just to write in the issue, and we've got a really awesome team, more than happy to like chat you through it or anything like that.
I'm actually going to share Carl's GitHub as well in the chat too. Okay, so while we're going through the list of questions, where is it? How long does it take? How long does it host your site for? I don't think it's meant to be a hosting platform.
No.
So it's not like, and there's a question with Repel coming up in a moment. So let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. Is GitPod similar to Repel it? I think they spelled it a bit wrong. I can't remember.
Repel it. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not played with it at all. I can't even. I'm trying to Google it right now, and I can't even spell
You
it.
have a Google, and
Replit.
I'll.
Replit.
Yeah, I think it's similar, but there's I think you can host, but it turns off after 30 minutes, and people do some tricks where they like have something pinging itself every 30 minutes so it stays awake. But I think it doesn't use VS Code; it has its own one. So like VitalID says, it's more functional than Replit. I think VitalID
Replit.
spelled it
Yes.
right. Here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite interesting. There are a few on the market. Okay, and then I guess this is not a question, but care with your .end files when sharing the state. This doesn't take git ignore into consideration when sharing. What's .end file? I'm guessing did something get created when I was sharing it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Carl,
I
if
don't
you
know
can
what you mean.
elaborate. Yeah, Carl, if
Yeah.
you can elaborate and let us know. Does it have a dark theme? It does, because
Yes.
Pauline is using it at the moment. So how do I put dark theme on, Pauline?
So
As
you can
mine.
go. So if you go on settings, so just do you see the little settings next to the GitPod
Oh yes,
button?
right
Yeah.
down the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, and then click on color theme.
Okay.
And then you can browse whatever color theme you want, really.
Dark. Perfect.
Yeah. You can also install themes from the marketplace, so you can just install anything. And I think I was doing like a I recently recorded the GitPod screencasts, and I recorded I recorded my whole VS Code in purple, and it was all just like bright purple, my favorite color.
Nice. Another great question by Vivi: how many people can concurrently share in GitPod? So if I did share the link in the chat, and we had okay, we don't have 100 people,
gosh,
we have 20 people, but if we had like 20 people, are you aware of a limit? Let's say, could you do a workshop on it or something?
I have not. I'm not aware of a limit, but I want to say, yeah, I want to. Yeah, let me get back to you on that.
There
I'm
must
not
be a
too
limit,
sure.
but
There
yeah,
must be.
there
Yeah.
must be,
Yeah.
but it's probably higher than we probably need if it's not
Yeah.
obvious. Carl was saying, oh, when you do share a snapshot, it has a dot end. Okay, I see. Got you. Carl, you said you had a quick look. You've had a proper play with this. You've like really tested out lots of features.
Yeah. More than me, maybe. I've only
Yeah.
started GitPod a month ago, and I'm like, whoa, all these features. Yeah.
We have so many awesome people in the Eddie Hub community. They what do you call it? Really.
Yeah, they really.
Really.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun in the Discord channel yesterday, and seeing everyone get super excited and asking so many great questions. Off the back of that, I created a list of things I want to talk to my team about. Just because there's so many cool things everyone's mentioned. So yeah, let me check that sharing thing, because I just checked our docs and we've not mentioned it, and that is important.
Okay.
So let me just make a quick note of that actually.
Okay, while you're making a note of that, I think Vivi, you might have cleared up that was Carl saying, oh, there is an M file, so it was N file, so thank you very much, Vivi. I mean, when sharing a snapshot, this doesn't take gitignore into consideration. Oh, so your private keys and stuff in the N file will be shared too. That's really good to know. That's interesting.
Okay,
So
that's interesting.
That's
Yeah.
good and bad though, because if I'm sharing stuff with Carl and we're working in a dev database and I say, hey, I've got this issue with this bit of code I'm writing, and instead of Carl having to create the data for it, it has my keys, and I could always cycle my keys afterwards so we could work on the problem, and then I could cycle my keys. So there's a positive and negatives, but it's important to be aware of that. So okay, makes sense. Okay, cool. Let's see. We can use it for workshops. All coding might get a bit crazy. We all have it in. Yeah, I said 20 as an example, but I think there might be a bit too much. Okay, the truth's out now. Carl did dive into it quite deep yesterday. Everyone does like the
dark theme. You should see the purple one. It's too bright, but it's so good. It just makes me happy. Worth it.
Nice. So, okay, I'm just conscious of time. We're going for like 45 minutes already. So what other features do you think we should highlight? Like and other people listening, what other situations do you think when you're pairing with someone working on an open source project? I really love the idea of having the badge in our README. So someone wants to contribute to the API, for example, we have need Docker installed, but a lot of people don't have it installed locally, or they might not know how to use it. So it's great that they can create GitPod and they get the DataStax database up and running straight away as their project. So that's great. So everyone, what other features do you think we would use? And Pauline, while people are writing in the chat, what do you think? What other features do you think we should know about? Make us aware of.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that there with the GitPod button. It's just super useful, not just for when you start like a new repository or your new like say you've joined a new open source project and you want to onboard yourself. It's really good for just automating that whole process. But another thing I really love about it is that GitPod understands different contexts. So for example, if you are like wanting to review a PR and you've configured the GitPod, you configured GitPod into your repository, it has this little like bot that then that creates like a little open in GitPod button, and then when you click that, it understands that you are in a PR, so you're like reviewing the PR, if that makes sense. And it's just great because then you don't have to again go through trying to install the right dependencies, try to switch branches or whatever like that. You just jump in and it's just there. It's perfect. And I since I started developing on GitPod and opening up different PRs and opening up, like trying to solve a new issue and understanding my issue and just directly from that context. I don't know, I just don't remember how I used to do it before since, because that's just so easy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's makes sense. I've just shared your screen. I'm sorry, I wasn't showing your screen. Could you show us what you meant in the
Yeah.
PR with the
Oh,
button?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then
So,
will that work for PRs that coming in via forks as well? Because that's the biggest challenge I have.
yes, yes.
Wow. Because usually I have to create a patch file from the fork, and so therefore I can then, like you said, switch, apply the patch to my local branch that they're the branch they're trying to merge into and all the rest. So if GitPod can take care of that, that is freaking epic.
It's awesome. And like I said, it does the repository context, branch and commit context, issue context, pull and merge context. And so there's actually a really good documentation on our website that goes through every single thing, and you could read more about it. But yeah, it solves that whole headache. I used to, I mentioned at the start, I used to teach Code First Girls. And that was one of my biggest issues, trying to look at other people's code and trying to help them as I was teaching and giving a workshop. And I don't know, like now I just think of GitPod as the thing that I could have used and it would have made my life so much easier, but it's really, really good.
That is awesome. How do you get the opening GitPod in the PR? Is that a GitHub action that applies that?
This button.
Yes, so people can open the PR.
So you have to add a GitPod as an app on your
on the repo.
On your repository, yeah. And yeah, I think I'm trying to dig out where it's documented, because I'd love to share that with people. It's you just have to install the GitPod app. Here it is. Let me share that with people.
And we have a question from Manassa, is GitPod only to make development easy? Yes, my understanding, and I'll let Pauline answer properly in a second, but my understanding is, for having played with it for a whole 2 minutes, is that it's to lower the barrier to entry for everybody to get involved in the project. And for me, as you all know, I love people getting involved in open source projects, especially our EdiHub open source projects as well. So if we can add these, then this is going to be, super, super interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is the main thing that is the main use case for GitPod, just to make your life easier. We just, there's a lot of friction in getting set up with open source projects or just onboarding in general. So like, just imagine yourself as a new engineer wanting to get started with a specific code base, but then I'm sure we've all been in this situation where we're the new engineer and we just don't know how to get set up because someone wrote a documentation like 5 years ago and it's still not up to date, and so that solves that problem.
And the other challenge that I have, if I'm on a live stream and I see like a bug or some improvement I can make to someone's project, and it's say in Ruby or Python, I don't have those installed because all the latest versions, because that's not what I work with. I work with Node. Whereas if I can just get an environment up, just run their tests, make sure that I didn't break anything else, then I can submit it. Because otherwise what I do is I do it in the GitHub browser, and I just hope that they running their tests on the pull request as an action. I hope it doesn't break because I can't. It's not very easy for me to make those changes. So that's that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and it just prevents that whole works on by machine arguments that that we could go on about. Right? Yeah.
So true. There's a question, will we use GitPod for the community project? If yes, there are some green squares for raising issues. Yes, so someone could raise it on the API project. I'd love to get it running on the API project first, and then we can look at doing the other projects later. So if people want any green squares, let me share the a link to the API project. If someone can raise an issue, you can raise it on the other repos as well, but we won't rush into those just yet. Let's do it on the harder one, which I think is the API, because it has got the Docker container and so forth, and the NPM package that is on the GitHub registry. So if we can get that working, then we know everything else will work a lot easier. So that could be quite interesting. I also know people struggle to get the EdiBot running to find their tokens, to add the bot to their Discord. So maybe we could look at having, I don't know, a Discord server that's like Eddie Hub Dev or something, and then when people maybe use GitPod, they can get the token just for that dev server. I don't know what people think about that. I hate sharing tokens, but potentially we could do something like that to maybe make it a bit easier for people to just contribute. So that could be quite interesting. Definitely food for thought on that one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, if you do go ahead with that idea, I'll be in your channel helping as much as I can.
Yes.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
That would be awesome. We've got EddyCon next Friday, which we've got a workshop on. So you've given me lots of ideas over the next few days.
Amazing.
I really need to see if I can maybe make it easy, because I want to try and obviously get as much useful stuff in the workshop as possible, and I want people to follow along. My goal is to get as much useful stuff, but not too much, because I want people to follow along and so forth. But I don't want to have the questions like, oh, I can't get Node on my machine, and I'm like, because I want to focus on them learning the building an API. Hopefully, I need to run through it, but maybe with some automated testing as well. So
absolutely, that's exactly the use case, Eddie. I think you'll really get that. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm super excited. So if anyone listening, if you want to pair over the next week, we might do some, like, I don't know, in some Discord
I'd be more than happy to help.
That'd be epic. Maybe we can just try and see people can not clone it, but like GitPod it and see if they can Gitpodify. Yeah, I think, is that a real term, or did Carl
That's the real term.
Oh,
that's the real term we use. We use that, yes.
So Carl has been geeking out on your documentation then. And Gitpodify it and see. So, okay, I'm gonna do that. So let's that's a really, really good idea. So I really appreciate that. Okay, add it to my to-do list. Another question here, which is quite interesting. So your URL is shown. What would happen if someone tried to access it in your? It's not. I don't think it's Safari. I think it's Chrome. But if they try to access it, I guess, and they can't have access to your GitPod, it must be protected.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. If you do try to do it, then it says something like operation not permitted. You don't have the right permissions. So yeah, you can't just, like, for example, we're streaming, and you can't just copy my URL and then try and type it in. It doesn't work like that.
Makes sense. Let's have a look. Okay, some other chat going on. Koalia says, I tried GitPod soon. Koalia, we're expecting a blog post on it, because you do lots of awesome blog posts on it.
Oh,
so
wow. I'd love to read that. Yes.
That would be very cool. Maybe Koalia can compare with us on when we're doing it with the API, and then write a blog post on it or something. So that could be quite cool. Does GitPod also do the cool PR review buttons on GitLab too? Vive GitLab. I know it's open source, but come on. I'm GitHub star. We have to use GitHub, and I'm joking. I'll let Pauline answer that. I'm guessing yes.
Yes,
but I'll let Pauline
yes, I believe so. Michael, if he's still around, he might be able to give you a bit more context, because he works for GitLab, and it's really sad because I've been wanting to, like, play around with GitLab and GitPod, because both of them together is like a match made in heaven. But I'm pretty sure you can as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I said Eddie Hub API, and I forgot to put the link in, so I've done that again. The link is in the chat this time. Okay. Rust is the default workspace image. Okay, cool. Well, the compiler. That's interesting. Cool. Okay, this sounds great. Okay, lots of people getting excited. I'll try it in later in case you don't finish it. I might reach out to Pauline.
Yes, please do.
Carl is so fast. By the time I've thought of something, Carl's already completed it. I think I was working on a PR last week, I think before last, and before I even got halfway, Carl had already finished it, and I was just like,
amazing. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, German cars, like, really efficient. I don't know if that's like.
Oh my gosh, Eddie!
To say, okay. Is that a nice thing to say
can I say though? Can I just say, my whole team, most of my team are from Germany, and they are the most efficient people ever, and I really love it. It's great. It's amazing.
Awesome, Alfred. Thanks for the support. We're a visionary. I don't know if it's me or Pauline or both of us. Let's apply it to both.
I'll take the compliment.
Yes, EddyCon. Yes. Oh, Carl, that would be amazing. I was actually hoping Carl would do the workshop with me for EddyCon, but Carl's working that day. But yes, if you can help beforehand, I'll definitely give you a shout out in the workshop to say you helped prepare. So really appreciate that. Sounds great, Carl. We'll do some pairing this week, and then Pauline's going to join us and a few others as well. So that's
absolutely.
That's
I'm there already.
Awesome, thank you. 5IV, I was just joking. GitLab is great, I know, and it's open source, which is good. No problem. We're always here to all share knowledge and so forth, which is why I love the EddieHub community, right? I've got a badge here: collaboration first, code second. So,
oh yes, I love that.
Yeah, it's what the community, we came up with it together. It's just epic, and I love it how people who are new to tech are still trying to help other people who are even newer, which is awesome. So,
It's the best.
Koali is already logged in. Okay, awesome. Cool. Be right back. Deleting my IDE and purging my 4 billion node modules. Oh no, what have we done?
Yeah. Oh, can I just quickly say, whilst
course.
we're going through the chat, there was another feature I really wanted to talk about, and that is pre-builds. I quickly brushed up on it earlier, and essentially what it does is we've got, the init phase, the init script that we had in our GitPod YAML file. So for example, this, the init, it'll do, in this case, it'll do an npm install. So what pre-builds does is it essentially takes like a snapshot of your of that initial command, so that the next time you open up GitPod, it'll be faster because it already knows it's already taken that I'm losing my words now. Oh, Friday.
It's Friday afternoon. Yeah.
Sorry, always happens. But yeah, essentially does that. And so whenever someone pushes a new code into your repository, it already builds it before you even run GitPod, if that makes sense. So it should be faster. And yeah, there's different ways that you can enable that. So GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, and you can also do a manual execution of a pre-build if you want to give that a go, if you want to have a look. But yeah, I just wanted to say that whilst we're going through the chat.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. And there's another one. Not that one, my one. Where is it? Shubham says, tested GitPod yesterday, couldn't hold my excitement. So,
oh yes. Yeah, I think he joined the GitPod community on Discord as well. So yeah, it was really nice to have. A lot of the EddieHub community actually came over to the GitPod community asking questions. It was really great. So thanks, Eddie.
That's awesome. EddieHub people should be getting over the GitPod people over to our Discord. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, so we're bringing it all together.
Yes, exactly. I like that. You're right. Collaborating, that's cool. But this pre-build sounds really exciting to get it even more efficient and faster.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's really good. And I like that. Well, that doesn't seem to support dot files, but that we can add, I think Carl was saying, we can add to the configuration file, the YAML config, any extensions we want. So we have to install them every time.
Yes.
So that's super awesome. What I like about that is then when someone forks the project and runs it in GitPod, it can also have the extensions that are useful for that project specifically. So if you're using DataStax, you might have the DataStax plugin. If you're using Mongo, you might have the Mongo plugin, all the rest. So that's really, really good. Cool.
Yes, GitPodify view your projects.
Yeah. Michael, thank you so much. I felt really bad. I forgot Michael was from GitLab, and I was like, oh my God, what did I say? Did I get too excited?
All nice.
I'm good with friends, right, Michael? I hope so.
We're all friends. We're all friends.
Nice. Here's a good question. Do you have to have a repo to use GitPod? So if you're starting from scratch and you haven't got a repo yet, what should the process be? Should we create a repo first and then GitPodify it? Or can you GitPodify? I guess you're going to podify something, GitPodify something, and there needs to be something there.
Yeah, you're spot on, Eddie. You do need a repo, an existing repo, before you can open up GitPod.
Makes sense. Do you have a link to the Discord community for GitPod? If you can private message to me, I'll share it in YouTube.
Yeah, it's just gitpod.io/chat. So you should be able to access it there. You may be taken to the
let's try GitPod /chat. Let's have a look.
Yeah. It actually forwards you to.
Perfect.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to join now.
Yes, I was going to say, Eddie, I was going to say, you better click that button.
I'm in. It's there. GitPod's there. Look. I'm in.
Woo! Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, I'll have a read of that later on. There must be a few more steps to complete, it says. Okay, I'll do that later. No one wants to watch me do that. So that is awesome. And I need to share the link in the chat as well. GitPod Discord. Perfect. Cool. Let's bring up your screen again as well. Okay. Michael doesn't hate me, so we're all good. We're still friends. That's good. Awesome. Cool.
Incredible.
Okay. So what else can we? How are we on time? We're going for over an hour, and I know Pauline and me were aiming between an hour and a half max. So any last questions, anyone, and also Pauline, anything else you think people should be aware of? As in, like, there's a cool feature. We might not go into detail now, but just aware that it's possible. Like, what cool features I suppose are possible?
Yeah. I think I covered like most of the basics.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything super cool that we could talk about. The ones I talked about really fast at the start were like my favorites, I think. Actually, whilst we're here, I could talk you through how just I think an hour ago, we released our new screencasts, and
Awesome.
we actually so we have sort of this. It's not an issue. I think it's an issue. It's sort of like an issue across the industry where cloud IDEs and this concept of ephemeral workspaces and environments is still sort of new in developers' minds. We sort of just don't know and don't understand how it'll work. So I've actually this week I worked on recreating our screencast to go through every single thing in detail. So maybe I just wanted to point people here to check them out and give us your feedback. And if something still doesn't make sense or you don't know how to get started with GitPod, then yeah, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to spend like a few hours with anybody who needs help with GitPodifying their setup. And so yeah, just wanted to point people in that direction. And I was going to say, what else? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about code spaces very briefly.
Okay.
So we recently released this blog post all about what we think about code spaces. The too long didn't read, as you can see here. Welcome. We're really happy that GitHub Code Spaces is out. I think it really opens up the whole conversation around like cloud IDEs and dev environments that's automated. And so yeah, we're just really happy about that. And again, I can spend a few minutes now if anyone has any specific questions about it, but I haven't got like access to code spaces yet, so I can't give you like the lowdown of this feature is different to this, but we do.
Well, funny you should say that. Let me go to GitHub. What have I got?
You do. Of course you have access.
I've had it for I don't know, a year or something now.
Have you?
Yeah, a long time.
So this whole concept isn't sort of new to you then?
No, I actually built my battle snake in Codespaces and hosted it because you can make it. I think I used ngrok to make it available.
Oh yeah.
So I did host this. So let me think. They've moved Codespaces around, so yes, we can open it. But it just seemed like my local dev environment with everything that I needed. But being in beta, there was still things that had some teething issues. The biggest thing I did like was that it imported. So I have my dot files. So if I go to Eddie, so if anyone wants to see what VS Code plugins I'm using, not Eddie, that's wrong. Eddie.files. What VS Code plugins I'm using, what I've installed on my Mac, you can see all this here. Even my git ignore global, so I can set up my Mac, any new Mac in like 10 minutes. So if you say, well, Eddie, how your Vim looks really interesting, like it looks so different. So if I did something like, I don't know, Vim API and then just README, for example, you go, Eddie, your Vim looks really, really different. Like, how did you do that? You could see my Vim config here, for example, and you could do the same. So I really do like that. So if I bring up my VS Code, where is VS Code? Here we go. People can see what plugins I have installed. So I like that, how it was always configured to the same as my local environment, which was really useful. So I didn't have to go and install these. But I haven't played with it too much, to be honest. I think because it was limited to 2, then I guess I could have deleted stuff or not deleted stuff, but I don't know. And not a lot of people were using it. So although I could have spent more time configuring it, and I think I didn't get it building up with Docker, I didn't invest time on it because I couldn't put a badge on it for other people to use. And so I think that was why I like the idea, but I don't know. I felt that if I come up with an analogy, I felt I had like, I don't know, an amazing, I don't know, big mansion house, pool, bar, everything, hackathon room, you know, all the good stuff. But I couldn't invite anyone over.
So, that sucks. Yeah.
So with Code Spaces, although I had to play with it, I liked it. I just felt I couldn't geek out with anyone on it. So whereas with GitPod, I really like the idea that, you know, okay, it doesn't have dot files, but it might have other features or whatever. But okay, I might have a slightly smaller mansion, but I can invite all my friends over and we can have hackathons and stuff. So for me, it's just so much more useful. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have a look at GitPod.
Yes, absolutely. And you can throw the badges around and anyone can just click the badge and can get started with contributing straight away. So yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is awesome. People saying they're loving the live stream, which is great.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, Vincent, it must be like 2 a.m. for you as well. So thank you so much for joining.
Oh, appreciate it.
And we've got Let's Grind Hard, newbie. We're all newbies here. I'm always learning. It's great to have you here. Pauline's purple on the Code Spaces. Yes, join the Discord server. Definitely. Link in the description below. And actually, Nightbot will. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, Nightbot has brought it up as well. Cool. Also, one other thing I'd like to bring up is before we go, Pauline's social or website link is below. You can find her on YouTube, podcast, Twitter, everything
on the internet,
yes,
just anywhere.
go follow and subscribe to all Pauline's social channels, and we're going to geek out more with Pauline in Discord, and especially over the next week for EddyCon. So
absolutely,
I'm super excited to give this a run and test. So yes, Devraj, we're just finishing. Thank you so much for joining and popping in. Slightly smaller mansion. Yeah, I just thought of that on the spot. I'm quite proud of that.
That was actually very good. I was like, is that scripted, Eddie? Where did you get that from? We didn't agree that.
Yeah, it's like telling to your friends, you know, would you rather have a $50 million mansion, but you can never invite anyone there? Or would you have a $30 mansion and you can invite all your friends and family over? I'd go for the $30 million mansion, I think. Yes, awesome. Everyone, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. We have 54 thumbs up on the video. That's probably like, you know, definitely one of the awesome ones, definitely the top 3. So Pauline, thank you so much for joining. Anything else you'd like to add, Pauline? You've been amazing.
No, nothing at all. Thank you for being such a great host. This is actually one of my first ever live streams, so I was really nervous going in. So yeah, thank you just so much for all the community support as well. And I'm really excited to see you all start Gitpodifying your projects. Let me know, and you know, I'm more than happy to help. Thank you.
Awesome. I meant $30 million, not $30. You're right. You'll get what I mean. It's Friday afternoon. It's not as late as it. Exactly, that's my excuse. It's not as late as it is in India or Asia, but it's still late, past my bedtime. But it's great to see new people joining as well, and saying hi and bye and stuff. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Or Lego mentioned 5IV, always with the creative answers, definitely. Pauline, we finally did the live stream. I'm just super
more to come now.
Happy.
Now we've experienced it. Do it again.
No excuses now. Exactly. And I'm gonna share your website link in the chat as well. So this is Pauline's link. So do go and follow Pauline everywhere. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining as well. Really great, and everyone else. Love the support. You're all such a supportive community. That's why I love doing these, and want to try and do more per week. I just love live streams. They get me so pumped. Like before,
I'm pumped now.
Exactly, me too. I want to play with. I've got to go out for dinner, but I was like, I want to play with GitPod and eat out with Carl and you, and just jump on the Discord call and just have a play with it. So, okay. And I got a wedding to go to tomorrow, so it's going to be Sunday. Is the next
That's it. Enjoy yourself, Eddie. Enjoy yourself.
No, I'm taking. I don't tell anyone, but I'm going to take my laptop to the wedding tomorrow, just in case there's a spare 30 minutes. Go up in the car.
I need a photo with you in your tux.
Oh my God.
Ready to go.
Yes, I'll do that. Me, like in the church when they're getting married, and me, my laptop in this corner. Oh my God, I'm so going to do that. Love that. Such a good idea. Everyone have a great weekend. I want to put up the holding screen for a minute. Pauline, if you don't mind hanging on for a couple more minutes, I just want to say thank you to you personally as well. Everyone, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out Pauline's links below. And we will all see you on the next live stream.
Thanks,
bye, everyone.